Dan, I'm going to take advantage of your company right now. There have been two cases that you've been part of the legal team that have gone to the appellate court here in New Jersey. I would like you to share these cases with us and tell us why these cases may or may not be so significant.
The case that you're referring to, Mark, is the case of Denike versus Cupo. And what was involved there was the breakup of a limited liability company owned by two members. At the initial trial level, the court determined that it could use a portion of the corporation statute to modify what the LLC Act has in terms of the presumptive date for valuing the departing member's share in the company. Under the LLC Act, there's really no flexibility for the trial judge to move the date of valuation from a date other than the date of filing the complaint for disassociation of that departing member. The trial judge applied a different date, looking at a series of factors. First, he looked at the conduct of the departing member. Then he looked at an agreement between counsel, which seemed to say that the date of valuation would be a date other than the date of filing the complaint because the parties had been engaged in mediation. When the mediation failed, ultimately the complaint was filed, and the judge later determined that a different date would be appropriate for valuation. When the case went up on appeal, the appellate division decided in the first articulated way in limited liability company law in New Jersey that the trial court had no room to modify the presumptive valuation date away from the date of filing the complaint, and really made it clear that the LLC statute was very different from the corporate statute in that the corporate statute does give flexibility to the trial judge to make equitable adjustments to the valuation date based on factors that it can take into consideration, especially in oppressed minority shareholder cases.
Dan, I'd like to thank you for joining us today on Forensic Perspectives, and also thank you for sharing your thoughts on the LLC entity, its advantages and disadvantages, and commenting on the case that you worked on. Our guest today has been Daniel Gielchinsky of the law firm of Hurt & Bernstein. If you have any questions on shareholder disputes or any other litigation in regards to the matters we talked about today, including LLCs, I'm sure Dan will be happy to assist you. You can reach him at his New Jersey offices at area code 201-342-6000. As always, our audience is welcome to contact our office with any questions or comments. Stay connected with us on the web at www.msgcpa.com, where you can also subscribe to our newsletter, Forensic Perspectives. We can also be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and of course by phone. Your topic suggestions for future broadcasts are always welcome. Until our next program, this is Mark Gottlieb. Thank you for joining us.
You have just enjoyed another episode of Forensic Perspectives, hosted by financial expert Mark Gottlieb. For questions and or comments regarding this broadcast, please feel free to contact Mark by phone at 516-829-4936 or via email at msgcpa@msgcpa.com. We also encourage you to visit our website, www.msgcpa.com. The opinions and commentary in the preceding program provided by our host and guests are for informational and educational purposes only and may not be their personal or professional opinion. No accounting, tax, or legal advice is being provided. The information provided within this broadcast is not an invitation for an attorney-client or accountant-client relationship. One should always seek the advice of competent professionals to assist in their specific needs. In addition, this podcast will not be updated for changes in accounting practices or law. As such, one should not rely on any information provided by this podcast. References to resources are provided solely for the listener's convenience. We have not reviewed or verified any information, advertising, products, resources, or other materials mentioned herein. This broadcast is copyright of Mark S. Gottlieb, CPA, PC, all rights reserved. Any redistribution or reproduction of part or all of this broadcast is strictly prohibited unless authorized in writing.